And Bob and I are extremely excited to talk to everyone today about Synergy's Path to Prosperity. So it's going to be a great webinar, and we're going to need your help for this.
It's really fun for us when we get a little bit of feedback from those that are on the webinar. So certainly feel free to interject as we're going along. Glad to have your input. So that'll be great. Thank you. Hey, listen, I have a little bit of an announcement I need to make too, Judy, before we get started. If it's okay, I sent out a constant contact letter to everybody earlier this week, but on our Monday morning conference call, which we hold every Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time, Dane and I host that call. And we've had the same phone number for years, but that phone number is being changed. I sent it out. Everybody here should have received it. But if you haven't, if you don't mind, grab a pen or a pencil and write down this new number. The new number for our Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time conference call, and this begins November 22nd. The new number is 667-770-1426. That number is 667-770-1426. And the access code remains the same. It's 418852 and then the pound sign. 418852 and the pound sign. Now that begins November 22nd, and we're going to be having Dan Higginson, the founder of Synergy Worldwide, will be on our conference call that morning. It's the week just prior to Thanksgiving. He's excited to join us for that call. So Dan Higginson will be on with us again, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time, beginning November 22nd for that new phone number. Okay, Judy, thank you.
Great. And I did put it in the chat. So if you just copy the chat and put it save it as a file or copy the chat, you'll have that number written down.
Perfect.
Well, let's get started. It is the top of the hour, and we want to be respectful of everybody's time. Today, we're going to talk about the Path to Prosperity, which is a document that Synergy has created for new and ongoing distributors to really be able to move forward in their business. And I am joined today with my co-host, Bob Wischmeier, who is probably a little chilly this morning, but it is a beautiful day. So welcome, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. Yeah, it is a little chilly this morning.
And I was wondering if there's someone that would like to share their story that is actually here today that maybe has a different thought or idea. Is there someone that would like to share?
Hey, I'll jump right in. This is David.
Hey, David, thanks.
Hey, definitely. This is fantastic. And those three bullet points you have there, the 1, 2, and 3, product, purpose, prosperity, is right in line with my personal experience and experience that I've had with so many clients. For sure, you experience something that you just wanted to try, and you're skeptical, as I was, and certainly as many of my customers have been when they first. But you realize that you have a purpose to try it, and my purpose was to avoid getting the common family diseases that many of my Hispanic family had, complications that are cardiovascular related. And of course, the same thing happened to me that Bob just shared. I realized it worked with me, it worked with the family, and it changed our lives. And the more I started sharing it, the more I started getting calls. And I was still a banker back then. My phone was on mute, but I would be getting calls constantly after I was interviewed on the radio about the product. And we're talking specifically about Pro-Arginine Plus and nitric oxide. And same thing, I realized that I could create a business from it. And not only did I create a business, but I had to convince somebody in my household was extremely skeptical. That was my wife. But when she tried it, finally, after a lot of persuasion, and her migraines disappeared, and to this day, and she used to get terrible migraines, she became a believer. And of course, that testimonial just repeated itself with so many different people. And all of a sudden, it became a business. So I can definitely relate to what you're talking about.
Thank you, Dave. And what you have just mentioned is right here on the bottom of the slide, where you start for one reason and then that just goes into something else. Even people that start for prosperity, they start because they just want to make money, discover that they fall in love with the product, or they get a bigger purpose. And it really is cyclic. We all go through probably all stages of this business. Isn't that right, Bob?
Well, it's true. And one of the things that you discover fairly quickly, and David alluded to this, is that it doesn't take very long before you start finding other people who are like-minded. It just happens. Everyone wants to talk about their health or the health of a loved one. I mean, it's just normal, natural. It just, I don't care who you are. I went to pick up some lumber up on the mountain at my buddy's sawmill. I hadn't been up there at the sawmill for 5 minutes, and we were talking about prostate health. For heaven's sake, me and this roughy tough old logger up on the mountain talking about health, right? It just happens. It's a part of life, and especially as you get a little bit older. So everywhere you turn, there's somebody like-minded that are drawn to your purpose, to your whatever it is that you're doing. And you're just, I don't know, it doesn't hardly take any time at all. You get a little bit of a passion for this thing, and you start to mention it, and people are just drawn in. Not everyone, there will always be those who have ears to hear and those who don't. But that's the beauty of what we're doing with this product, with this company, and with this business, is people need what we have. Judy?
That's so true, Bob. And so that brings us to Synergy's, what they call path to prosperity. I like to think of it, though, as a wheel of success, and to put myself in this wheel first, because it's our own path and our own knowledge and experience that will help others become solid team members. First, we need to become a solid team member ourselves. And so being able to be found by someone, and someone asked you to join Synergy Worldwide. And in the process, as you have gone through this circle, you will find others, just for so many reasons that we're going to talk about just in a moment. But then you have to develop yourself, learn about the product, be successful yourself, become a solid team member yourself, and find ways to develop yourself, like coming on this call every Saturday morning. We so appreciate everyone being here. It makes our job more interesting, and it makes you a better team member to be able to read on a regular basis. Find a mentor. Sometimes our upline is not our mentor, but there are people out there in other businesses that can become a mentor. And by developing yourself, you will transform yourself into a leader. And it's a circle. So then you find someone else and you develop them, and and transform them. And this circle continues until you have an amazing team.
It's really true. And we all have our own personal path that we've followed. Just quickly, several years ago, before I became involved with Synergy Worldwide, I've always been in really quite good shape. I worked very hard physically, stayed slender, and just have always worked hard. I love to work. I found myself in a position several years ago where something changed, and I was having a problem, and I knew I was having a problem. My energy level dropped. I'd get home from work. I I bought a piece of property in Montana that had been a horse training facility, equestrian training facility, and it had a great big gambrel roofed barn on the place. Really cool, with the big stanchions in there for horses and for training and corrals and all that. And I transformed that big barn into a home. And so when you came to our house, you had to walk up a few stairs to a landing and then up and up a few more stairs. So when you walked into our home, you're actually on the second level. It was really cool. I got to a point where I'd get to that first landing and I'd have to stand there for a minute, catch my breath before I could get up the rest of the way. That was not me. That was a frightening experience to me. I needed to find, at that juncture, I knew something was wrong. I had no idea what it was. I didn't want to go to a doctor or whatever, but that was the beginning of my path to better health. It led me down a road to find a friend with some goji juice, and I bought some goji juice. And I got feeling better, by the way. That goji juice helped me. But that's what led me to Synergy Worldwide and Synergy and Nature Sunshine and Pro Arginine Plus and nitric oxide therapy, et cetera, et cetera. I needed to find something. Now, everyone has their own path that they're going to be walking down. But there are basically two different groups of people that we're going to be looking at as we go forward with our business. We're going to have those who just want product. Those are our users. And there are going to be those who want to share that product and share the business. Those are the people that are going to want to build this energy business. And we need to, it's very careful. We need to determine where the people we talk to, where the folks that we're getting involved with, where they fall in that category. Do they just want product? Because a customer wants to give you money and buy some product. It's just a simple exchange. They get the product, they're happy. You get the money, you're happy. Customer acquisition done. Individuals who want to become a distributor, a team member, who wants to share the product, who want to build a business, at the end of the month, they want a check. They want to be paid at the end of the month. It's way different between being a customer and a distributor. Judy?
That's so true, Bob. And, for some people, it's working 5-10 hours a week. Those are the people that are sharing. And maybe they want to make sure that they sell three boxes of Pro-Arginine so that they can get their one box free. And those people are needed in this business. They may or may not grow into a leader of the company. It's a personal choice. And what happens in their business, the doors that open for them will lead them onto that journey. As leaders ourselves, it's up to us to really question them and see what they want, where they want to go, and to support them on that journey to become a team leader or builder of the company.
Customer acquisition is hugely significant and important to us, and it is to Synergy Worldwide. That's the kind of thing that keeps us, off the TV and keeps us from being sued as building some kind of a pyramid scheme or something. Customers are extremely important. A huge part of my Synergy business, and I've been doing this for over 10 years, is customers. I have a lot of customers, and they're happy. They want product, they buy product, they call me, we talk, I send them information. Some of them buy product on their own. Some of them call me to order product for them. Doesn't matter. And some of those users will sort of naturally want to become part of the business. I think generally speaking, that's not real common, a little bit. I don't think I would, bank on it, but there will be those. But I think the important thing here for us is to remember that, when you become involved as a distributor, as a team member, you have to learn to develop yourself, right? It's like, enough to get started, but you've got to develop yourself. You've got to look for some help as you move forward. Ask questions. There are no dumb questions. I always say, go to your upline, abuse your upline if you need to, if you will. Sometimes your sponsor is not helpful. That happens. Well, don't sweat it. Go to somebody else. Find someone else that you like and that you can relate to. Don't hesitate to call customer service as you're getting started, as you're trying to develop yourself and build your business. Study Synergy's website. Go to Dan Hammer's our Synergy family website. There's more information on Dan's site than there is on Synergy's site. But you've got to develop yourself, right? That's key here if you're going to be moving forward as a Synergy distributor.
And
Yeah,
you made a really good point too, Bob, about having customers. And if someone is going to be a customer, let's look at the financial side of it too. It's so much better to have a customer who's only going to be a user and get that 25% rebate rather than put them in your downline and maybe get 7% if they're on your weaker side. But if they're on your stronger side, you really get nothing other than bank volume.
And that's a point that Dan brought up in the webinar that we had with Josh McCall a couple of days ago, how important it is to distinguish between customers and distributors or team members, and how important that elite rebate is. I mean, you guys, seriously, and I've said this before, but profits beat wages. If you can make $42.50 when somebody buys a jumbo, think about that in terms of, I had a kid come over last night. I had him do some work for me out here on my farm. And I paid him $15 an hour, which is fine. He worked really hard for an hour and a half in the rain. Glad to pay him. I gave him $25 away he went. But he had to work an hour and a half in the rain, in the cold, and drive 8 miles here and 8 miles back home again to make $25. I can make $42.50 every time somebody buys a jumbo. And so profits really are better than wages, if you will. At least that's been my experience. And I love customer acquisition, Judy.
Right. So it's probably more financially sound if you don't know if someone is going to be a user or a sharer or a leader, to actually just make them a customer and let them develop and make their own decisions on where they want to move forward.
Yeah, that's really true. Excuse me. If you go into your Path to Prosperity workbook, and again, we recommend that you do this. Go online, look it up in your back office. But when you go into chapter 4, they've got a little bit of a breakdown called Path A, Path B, Path C. It's just sort of a little breakdown of things that you could do, should do, a kind of a little focus for you in terms of building your business. This Path A is like, work 3 to 5 hours a week, make 10 phone calls a week, that kind of a thing. But if you want to, become a sharer, 10, 20 hours a week, etc., it's broken down. It's just in black and white, and it's really easy to follow. So again, we recommend go into your back office, download this Path to Prosperity, or print the workbook, because you can fill in the blanks when you do and study through. There's really great stuff in there, Judy.
It really, really is. Thanks for mentioning that, Bob, because we can talk about this on a Saturday morning webinar, but it's really actually doing the action items that is going to make a difference in your business.
So now we're out. Now it's what are we going to do? Creating your path to prosperity, creating routines, etc. So let's talk about this for just a minute. Creating your path to prosperity. How many times have we talked about creating goals and our gosh, Judy, that I just lost what I was going to say. Brother, I should have written down what I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But right, be able to create those the goal, the big goal that you have is the first start, knowing where you want to get to, just like when I get in my car and decide I want to go someplace I've never been before, I go to Google and put in my destination, and it creates not only the route, but a timeline for me. And being able to do that, it's such a relief to know that I know how to get to where I want to do.
Yeah, it's a vision statement, if you will. Your why you're doing the things you're doing. You can figure out the hows, you can figure out what to do and how to do it, but it's really, really important. We always come back to why we're doing what we're doing. But when your why is cleared for you, why I want to build this business, whether it be for my personal health, or I want to help other people, or I want to make some money, whatever it is, when you're clear in your own mind why you're doing what you're doing, it helps you to focus and move forward, and it keeps you moving forward. That's that creating that path, knowing where you're going to go, because there are going to be bumps. This business, like any other business, has its ups and downs. It surges, it backs off. It surges and backs off. We've all experienced that. There's no question. When I started with Synergy, there was a point where I had, on an average, over 25,000 CV in my strong leg every single month. I was team leader. I mean, I was just rocking it. And then there was a glitch. There was an individual involved in the company who completely dismantled my downline. It was very hard for me. I mean, that was a real challenging experience, Judy, to have somebody that I trusted take my business apart. And, but he did. And I don't hate him, and I'm not mad at him. Things happen in life, but it can happen to us in this kind of a business as well. Well, what do you do at that point? Do you quit, or do you keep moving forward? If you understand why you're doing what you're doing, you regroup. And regrouping is what I've done. And that's what, hopefully, what all of us will do, Judy.
Well, it's so true. It brings me back to Google Maps, right? So If there's an accident ahead, I was traveling from Upper Michigan last month, and there was an accident in Milwaukee, and it was a really bad accident. And Google came back and said, you were just added 18 minutes onto your travel time. But if you take this route instead, you will save 12. And so I had to make a decision. Do I want to save 12? Do I want to stay in this same path? And I chose to take the alternate route. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Google map in our life that's going to say, hey, if you just go this way, it's going to be easier for you. But we do have those mentors and our upline and other people who have gone the same thing, and our own insight to continue on the path and just not give up.
Things like having some rocks on the table that you move from one side of your table to the other every time you make that phone call, or have that quality exposure, that kind of thing. You get up, you know what you're going to do in the morning. You set those routines around those action items. It makes all the difference in the world, right? Success is scheduled. Okay.
It really is. And Synergy makes a statement that I hadn't thought about in a long time, and it's about having a class. So can you get a couple friends together and just talk about your health and some of the things that you can do to create better health, maybe with a couple people at a time? It's just a concept that I hadn't thought about for a while. So it was interesting for me to actually read that in the book. Gee, should I have a couple people over and just have a discussion with several? So just a concept that, we may want to look into.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have to be creative. Everyone knows that, the square doesn't fit in the round hole, right? The square peg in the round hole. Be creative. Find ways. Look for some innovation for yourself. I think that's important as well. But again, coming back to what we're doing here, maybe an action item that we want to share with you is go into your back office, find the Path to Prosperity workbook, and read through it. Either download it into your computer or print it off. But there's an action item that you can do that's going to be helpful for all of us, for any of us. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and yet every time we go through another chapter in that book, I'm picking up things that I've either forgotten or I didn't realize I needed to do, whatever. But it's a good thing to do. So there's an action item for you too, Judy.
Yes. So that definitely is a challenge, to download that path to prosperity and decide what your path is going to be and do something about it. Make yourself a schedule and actually do the thing that you said you were going to do. And if you have a challenge, again, reach out, because we all have things that happen in our lives and sometimes don't know ways to work around it. So reach out to your upline or to someone on this webinar, because we are all willing to support each other here.
Yeah, we are. It's for sure. And we've discovered some things through the years as well that maybe haven't worked out so well. A lot of us have tried to work with doctors and chiropractors and health practitioners, et cetera, and spent a lot of money and time trying to do so with really relatively small amount of success. Maybe it's just us, but you have to find that out for yourself, I guess, or talk to some other mentors about things that they've done that have been helpful or that have worked, and create your own path. On certain people, individuals who I thought were going to really help me build my business, and nothing has come of it. That's happened many times through the years. But I don't get discouraged from it. It's like, okay, well, go for no, right? Maybe that's a book we need to review here one time, is Go for No.
Right. Yes, because obstacles do come up, and maybe sometimes the decisions that we make don't have the results we want them to, but that doesn't mean we quit. It just means we change direction.
Change direction. Absolutely. Any questions, you guys, before we close for the day? Any thoughts or questions you might have? We've just done so well, Judy, that we've covered everything.
We have. Well, I think what's happening, Bob, is everyone has gone into their computer and they're looking for the path of prosperity in the Synergy Worldwide back office.
I'm sure that's what it is. Everyone's anxiously engaged in a good cause.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Judy. Sure do love you. And listen, Monday morning conference call. We've got Phil Dexter is going to join us on this conference call on Monday morning with Dane. Really interesting guy, bodybuilder guy. He's going to be on the call with us for the next, maybe even the next 2 weeks. And then on November 22nd, again, we have our new conference call number, you guys. And we want you all to join us. Not everyone on the webinar joins us on that Monday morning call, but Dane and I love it when people jump on the call with us so we can share with people. So remember us, Monday morning, every Monday morning, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 6:30 for me in the morning. We're on that call.
Say that this particular webinar, part of the webinar series, is pretty awesome for me, because one of the things I was able to do, and you hit it on the head, Bob, I went in and I downloaded the book Path to Prosperity, and I make my notes. And what it has done for me is it took me through because I came from a networking guy, and all these things that Bob talked about, an individual who let you down and that kind of stuff. And I remember I was product driven, and I approached Dan and asked him all the customers, the actual customers that I've got. I've got over 200 customers, and I was able to print that list. I transferred that list to Excel, printed it out, And now I've got something to work on, or work with. So thank you guys for this webinar. And yes, I've got a pathway.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Donald.
Sure.
Yes, and probably first quarter of next year, we're going to actually talk about the back office because there will be changes to it. So thank you for reminding us of that, Donald.
Yeah, we've got several customers in our back office. Use them. Call them up. Find out, you haven't spoken to them for a while. How they're doing in this COVID environment. How has the product been worked? Because clearly they've been the only product. So, yeah, I can even do that from Barbados.
It's remarkable. I got a note from Synergy a couple of days ago that this gal had ordered some product, and gosh, I kept looking at her name thinking, I'm not sure if I know who this person is. So I called customer service, and she was a customer of mine from like 8 or 9 years ago in a different state. And she decided she wanted to get re-engaged and buy some more product. And she called customer service and said, is Bob Wischmeier still my sponsor? And they said, yeah. And she ordered some product. I still can't picture her face. I don't even know where I met her originally, but she bought some more products. So yeah, that customer base is phenomenal. And if you can reconnect with some of those people and, focus on that, it's really helpful for building your business, Donald. So thanks for sharing.
So Bob, if I may, that's a perfect segue to give her a call and, touch base. Why is she coming back? And clearly has helped. And you remember who she is. So yeah,
yeah, it opens the door. Yeah.
Yeah, customer service does an excellent job in emailing us as to who has purchased and keeping your customers yours. So that's an excellent thing that we've got with Synergy's customer service.
Yeah.
No one can buy product just like that. They have to come through a distributor. And that's one solid thing about Synergy.
So there's that door, Judy, that you didn't even know was there, right?
Yes.
That door opened. Didn't even know the door was there.
Didn't even know the door was there. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. I heard something.
Right, guys.
I heard something the other day too that said that you know what, you could be in a room full of doors, and if you don't open them, it's not going to do you any good. You'll stay in forever. So open those doors.
I guess you need to figure out whether you're trying to come or go. Yeah. Okay, guys. Love you all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you. Join us on Monday mornings.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
See
you.
you, Judy.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.